The atmosphere, initially filled with laughter, suddenly turned emotional when Taehyung was seen shedding tears in front of the BTS members. No one expected this moment to be the most touching moment in their interaction. But what was even more surprising was Jungkook's reaction. After seeing his best friend cry, Jungkook, usually cheerful and full of energy, suddenly showed a side rarely seen in public. Without a word, he approached Taehyung with slow steps and hugged him tightly, as if to comfort him without needing to speak. Fans who witnessed the moment couldn't hold back their tears. Many said Jungkook's hug wasn't just an expression of sympathy, but also demonstrated the depth of friendship between the BTS members. Some ARMYs even admitted to crying when they saw Jungkook's expression, which seemed to be holding back his emotions. He looked at them with love, yet also conveyed deep sadness as if he shared Taehyung's feelings. After that moment, the atmosphere completely changed. The members supported each other, and Jungkook smiled again. Though this time it felt different, more sincere. That simple moment proved one thing. Behind the grand stage and the global spotlight, BTS remains a family that looks after each other through thick and thin. After the hug, the room was completely silent. The only sounds were the gasps and small sobs from several other members, who were caught up in the atmosphere. Jungkook still held Taehyung tightly, while his hand gently patted his friend's back, a simple gesture, but full of meaning. Several staff members on set admitted they couldn't hold back their tears. The moment felt so real, unscripted, unacted, just two friends understanding each other's feelings. Shortly after, Jungkook released the hug, looked at Taehyung's face, and said softly, "We've been through a lot. Don't take it on yourself." That short sentence immediately made the atmosphere even more touching. For fans, this moment was tangible, proof that the closeness between the BTS members wasn't just for the cameras. They truly grew together, going through hardships, laughter, and even tears. Following the incident, many ARMYs flooded social media with hashtags full of support and love. A short video of Jungkook and Taehyung's moment immediately went viral on various platforms, with comments dominated by emotion and pride. That wasn't just a hug. It was a heartfelt gesture that only the two of them understood, wrote one fan. Seeing Jungkook comfort Taehyung like that made me realize they're not just a group, they're family, added another. Since that moment, their relationship has seemed to warm up with each appearance. Many have noticed that Jungkook's smile is now softer, and the way Taehyung looks at him is full of gratitude. Since that incident, many fans have noticed a change in the way Jungkook and Taehyung interact. They seem closer, more understanding, and often exchange glances with meaningful smiles. This touching moment served as a reminder that behind the glitz and glamour of the stage and the spotlight, the BTS members are just ordinary people who also experience fatigue, sadness, and vulnerability. However, that's precisely where their strength lies. They never struggle alone. Taehyung, with his sincerity, and Jungkook, with his empathy and maturity, demonstrated the true meaning of friendship. Without many words, without needing to explain anything, they demonstrated that a relationship built from the heart will always endure, even when the world is constantly changing. AMEs around the world agree that this moment wasn't just about tears, but about the courage to express their feelings, and about how Jungkook became a comforting presence when Taehyung needed a shoulder to cry on. Now, every time the two perform together, many look back on that moment, not with sadness, but with a warm feeling, because they know that behind every song, laugh, and step on stage, there's a strong bond of brotherhood. And perhaps that's why BTS is so beloved, not only because of their music, but because of the *** sincerity and love between them *** that feels real. Even without the need for words, time has passed. Much has changed. Busy schedules, individual projects, and career paths that have taken each member in different directions. But for ARMY, that moment when Jungkook hugged Taehyung remains a memory that is hard to forget. It wasn't just a fleeting moment, but a symbol of the true brotherhood that has grown over their long journey. Perhaps, behind the smiles they often display, lies a story of hardship that not everyone knows. But through every difficult time, they always have each other to lean on. Now, every time Jungkook talks about friendship, or Taehyung mentions the meaning of family among the members. Many are reminded of that day, the day when tears became a language, and hugs became the answer. Because in the end, it's not just their music that touches the hearts of millions around the world, but the way they care for each other, the way they love silently, and the way they remain human, even when they're on top of the world. And for ARMY, one thing is for sure, that moment wasn't just a story of tears and hugs, but proof that even amidst the bright lights of the stage, sincerity still lives in their hearts. Sometime after the incident, Jungkook mentioned in an interview that he always tries to be there for the members, especially when one of them is feeling vulnerable. He didn't mention any names, but everyone knew who he was referring to. Taehyung, on another occasion, also expressed how much the support he received at that time meant. In a low but sincere voice, he said, "Greater than. Sometimes, we don't need a lot of words. Just someone being by our side makes the world feel a little lighter." That sentence leaves many people speechless, because they know those words come from such a real experience. From then on, their relationship seemed to grow stronger. On every stage, those searching gazes remained. Behind the laughter and jokes, there was always a mutual understanding that couldn't be explained in words. And perhaps this is why BTS always feels different. They aren't just 7 superstars in the spotlight, but 7 souls who protect each other, even when the world doesn't understand. ARMY learned something from that moment, that it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel weak, and it's okay to lean on someone who cares. Because true strength isn't about never falling. It's about having the courage to rise with the people we trust. Behind Taehyung's tears, there's Jungkook's sincerity. Behind that hug, there's a love that needs no explanation. And behind their story, there's a simple message for everyone. Asterisk asterisk, keep the people who love you in silence, because they are the true home of your heart. Asterisk asterisk. The days changed, the seasons moved on, but that moment lingered in the hearts of many, not because of the drama, but because of its honesty. In an entertainment world often filled with fakery, Taehyung's tears and Jungkook's hug felt like a breath of fresh air, proof that genuine feelings still exist, even amidst the glare of the spotlight. Many armies then wrote messages, "Greater than. Thank you for showing that even idols are human, and it's okay to cry." The phrase went viral, but it was more than just trending. It served as a reminder of the meaning of empathy, and the importance of having someone who truly understands us without having to say much. Now, every time they appear on stage, many see more than just 2 idols. They see 2 hearts that once held each other together in their most vulnerable moments. And perhaps, behind Jungkook's smile and Taehyung's gentle gaze, there are still memories of that day. The day the world saw the most human side of BTS. A simple hug, but its meaning will never fade. Because in the end, what keeps us going isn't the applause, nor the cheers, but the presence of someone silently holding us back from falling apart. And that's what Jungkook did for Taehyung. A moment that may seem small, but for the 2 of them, and for the millions of hearts who witnessed it, it was the truest form of love. That night, after everything was over, Jungkook sat alone in the corner of the room. The lights had begun to dim, and only the soft sounds of the crew packing up equipment remained. He stared at where Taehyung had stood still, imagining his friend's tear-stained face. In his heart, Jungkook knew. They had grown together, gone through so much from ordinary teenagers full of dreams, 2 figures beloved by the world. But beneath it all, they were still 2 young people, keeping each other from getting lost in the too bright light. A few moments later, Taehyung approached. Without a word, they smiled at each other. There were no more tears, no more burdens, just simple warmth. 2 friends. The cameras may have stopped rolling, but the story lives on in the hearts of millions of ARMYs. Every time BTS's music plays, every time Jungkook's voice is heard and Taehyung's gaze appears on the screen, everyone is reminded that asterisk asterisk true strength doesn't always come from toughness, but from the courage to love and show vulnerability, asterisk asterisk. And therein lies their beauty, not from perfection, but from their raw sincerity. To the world, they may be mere stars, but to each other, they are home, a place where tears, laughter, and love can coexist without fear of appearing weak. Because in the end, it's not the stage that makes them shine, but the hearts that care for each other behind that light. A few days after the incident, their brief interview once again captured attention. When asked about the meaning of togetherness, Jungkook calmly replied, "Greater than. We grew up together. We know when to speak, and when to just stay by each other's side." Meanwhile, Taehyung looked at Jungkook and smiled slightly, "Greater than. Sometimes, a hug can speak more truthfully than 1,000 words." That simple sentence brought a sudden silence to the studio. No one dared interrupt the moment. Everyone knew they had just witnessed something sincere and rare. For ARMY, this moment wasn't just a memory. It was a reminder that even in a noisy world, there are still pure connections, those built not on popularity, but on a heart that understands each other. Every time a BTS song about friendship, struggle, or loss comes on, that moment always comes back to mind. Taehyung's tears, Jungkook's hug, and the silence that speaks louder than any words. And therein lies the meaning. That love in friendship doesn't always have to be big. It doesn't always have to be announced. Sometimes, just being present is enough. Just staying by the side of someone you care about, even when the world doesn't know. For Jungkook and Taehyung, that was more than enough. For ARMY, it was more than just a moment. It was a life lesson. That being strong doesn't mean never crying, and loving doesn't mean always talking. Sometimes, love is a calming silence, and a hug is a silent prayer. And that night, when Jungkook hugged Taehyung, the whole world fell silent, because they saw not just two idols, but two human beings, caring for each other in the midst of a storm. The atmosphere, initially filled with laughter, suddenly changed when Taehyung shed tears. No one expected that moment to be the most touching moment between them. But what was even more surprising came from Jungkook. Jungkook, who was usually cheerful, suddenly showed a rarely seen side. Without many words, he approached Taehyung and hugged him tightly. A hug is simple, but full of meaning. ARMY who watched couldn't hold back their emotions. There, a deep friendship is implied. Double quotes. The other members also fell silent, realizing the significance of the moment. Jungkook gently patted Taehyung's back, as if trying to reassure